Hey guys, Kamina the coach here. Just a quick video. So if you're new here, my name is Kamina the coach. This channel was originally dedicated to help people get it together to get the courage, the skills to move abroad, to work and live. With the influx of COVID in March of 2020, I moved back to the United States and I started working on some of my early childhood trauma and adoption trauma. So September of 2022, woohoo, I escaped and I moved back out of the United States, and I'm currently working and living in Baghdad. So this is just kind of an emotionally centered video. Um, Before I get started, I'd just like to remind you the reason that you have a practice is because it works. And so I saw a comic that I really enjoyed and I really related to, named Neil Brennan. He's written for a lot of comics, most notably Dave Chappelle. And I like him. And I really relate to his pain and his angst and constantly seeking. But there's always that but, right? I think that a lot of our problem, those of us who are continually seeking and unfulfilled in our seeking, is that we find stuff that works, but we don't stick to it. And that's the reason it's called a practice. So I say all of that to say, I'm struggling right now, but I'm struggling because holiday threw off my practice. So I was in the gym every day about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have been struggling to get back into that routine since coming back from our spring break in March. So I've been struggling mood wise, so that's why you really haven't seen any videos here lately. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is because my mood has been, I've been watching more stuff not centered on learning. And I find that can be very tricky if you are not putting stuff into your body, into your brain, into your soul that you want to mirror in your life. So really the title of this video will be something to the effect of, you really are okay alone. And I don't mean without friends, without community. I mean without a romantic partner, you are okay. Why does the movie industry and just everything in general kind of promote this need, even if you are a part of the LGBTQ community, there is, or LGBTQ plus community, there is this push to be partnered. And why is it? Why is there just such a push? And the only thing I can come up with, especially for the United States, is because partnered people spend a lot of money. Partnered people buy houses, they have children, they buy cars, and so this is feeding the capitalistic machine. So I think that that's the reason why, but I'm not sure. The point of all of this, the point of this video is that you don't have to buy into it. But how do you stop that? And so it comes back to that very cliche sounding idea that you have to find a way to love and support yourself. It's so much easier said than done. I talked to a gentleman the other day who has a neurodivergent sister, and it really upsets him. She must appear on the outside very normal, and it can be very frustrating to deal with somebody who is not mentally healthy, but they are physically healthy. It must be very confusing to people, because when somebody is physically sick, you can see it. So you have much more empathy and compassion. But when somebody is mentally or emotionally sick, this is still a form of sickness and they are equally incapacitated, but you can't see it. So you expect them to have the same capabilities that a neurotypical person has, and that's just not fair. Um, so I full and wholeheartedly acknowledge that we are not created the same. In fact, people could have lived a very similar background and proceed in life very different ways. And it has to do with a lot of different stuff, the support system they did or didn't have, the amount of resiliency they inherited, yes, inherited in their DNA from their parents. One of the siblings got it, another sibling didn't. Um, there's just so much to it. So I implore you to stop judging what you think another person should or shouldn't be able to do. Even inside of yourself, to be more compassionate with yourself and stop holding that yardstick up to yourself. I think I've probably said this in maybe 20 or 30 of my videos. It all begins with positive self-talk and how you address yourself. And if you have been talking or if you have been hearing that negative mother or father or grandma or aunt or uncle in your head your entire life, that is a habit. It is probably a neural pathway in your brain, and it takes a long time to reprogram that. It was the first step for me. There is an inner dialogue in my brain, and I am firm with myself, but I am not mean to myself. I occasionally will catch myself getting a little off track, and I immediately apologize to myself. So I think for me, that was the first thing I needed to do. But it wasn't a magic pill. It's not something that worked fast. It was something that I needed to get really mindful of. And it's something that I had to make a real habit. I think that this is in line with neuro-linguistic programming, really committing to focusing on talking to myself positively. I don't mean positive affirmations, looking in the mirror, you're great, you're wonderful, but I'm talking about when you do something that you know is crappy and you're like, gosh, you're so stupid, I can't, you always mess up, that's why nothing good ever happens to you, why me, blah, blah, blah. That internal dialogue versus, you shouldn't do that. You probably shouldn't have done that. You're going to do better next time, right? You knew that you shouldn't have, but there's a whole bunch of reasons why. I have compassion for you, and you're going to get it right the next time. So still holding yourself responsible, but being gentle and kind with yourself the way that small you deserved when you were young, and the way that small you that still exists inside of you deserves now. And so, yeah, so for those people who have been trying magic pills, you know, ketamine treatments and brain spotting and all these things, it's a culmination, right? There's no magic pill. It's about practice, taking good care of yourself. And it's not just taking care of, it's not what's happening with yourself physically. It's what's happening emotionally when you're taking care of yourself. I'm not taking care of myself with an ulterior motive. I'm taking care of myself because I deserve to be taken care of, and I don't need someone outside of me to take care of me. And that's the internal message that you're telling yourself. And when you're not doing that, you're saying, somebody please come rescue me because I can't take care of myself. And that's the message that you're giving to yourself when you're not taking care of yourself physically and emotionally. I don't think that it's rocket science, but it might not have been put to you like that before. A lot of times when I do these videos, they're as much for me as they are for anyone else. Like I said, I am not doing my practice right now. I'm not in the gym the way that I need to be. My ulcer is actively bleeding furiously because I have had a really stressful term with my students, and I'm not in the gym the way that I need to be, and it's really throwing me off. So I'm not lecturing you. This is really as much lovingly for me as it is for anybody that it helps out in the world. So a practice is a practice for a reason. It is to show yourself that you can take care of yourself and that you're committed to taking care of yourself. How could anybody else love you if you are not showing yourself genuinely that you love you? If you don't know where to start, start with the way that you talk to yourself. Being committed to changing the way that you talk to yourself. Um, you don't need to be with someone else to fulfill this. And if you're looking for someone else to fulfill this, to show your inner child the love and attention that you're lacking, you're almost always going to fail. I don't want to say always, always is a pretty blanket statement, but you really have got to start from the inside. Start with speaking kindly to yourself. And I don't mean not holding yourself accountable, but really dedicating yourself to being good to you because you know in your core that you deserve it. And you do. I do. So, um, you, if you're searching for that outside of yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure, more trauma, more disappointment. You are better off peacefully alone than fearfully and stressfully with someone else. So, and I stand by that wholeheartedly. So until next time, beautiful people, I am Kamina the coach, sending you love, light, peace, and joy. Until next time, peace.